Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to create 3 cards using my Sweet Street collection. I've only made one project. Although I've made quite a few for Spellbinders, I thought I would share with you 3 more projects today using the layer cake surprise. I want to show you how you assemble it, and then we're going to create a couple cookie cards too with the cookie corner. So we are going to jump in, and I love pattern papers, so I went through my paper stash and I found some of these pattern papers. They're from the farmhouse market from Cartabella. It's actually a 12 by 12 paper pad, and I loved the soft florals in here, so I thought we'd make a fun layer cake with floral pattern papers. This is my frosting piece. We're going to place that on the two-tone pink pattern paper. The top layer will be with the two-tone pink, darker pink. The bottom layer will be the floral, and the middle layer will be with the checkers or the gingham paper. I'm going to take the candle, insert the stripe layer, and we'll die cut that out with the pink pattern paper, and then we're going to bring in some white cardstock, die cut out the little tag and also the little candle piece. There's 2 pieces to the candle. You layer them together and they're just one die, which makes it nice so you don't lose them. And then I'm also going to take the candle piece and create 2 candle backings. For my cards today, I thought I would bring in the Party Cupcake Pocket cherries. The Party Cupcake Pocket die set has a cherry set. There's leaves, there's a cherry, and then there's a stem. So I stole that from that collection. I'll link it down below, but I thought we'd create some cherries for our cards today. I thought it went really good with the pattern paper. I'm going to die cut out 2 cherries with the darker pink, 2 with the lighter pink, and then I'm also taking the swirly from the Party Cupcake Pocket and die cut out 2 swirls. I thought we'd add a little bit of fun detail to our cake today. Okay, everything is die cut. How I like to layer my cherries are I die cut 2 out. One will be the backing, and then the other one will be the top. There is a detail piece that pops out. If you layer them together, it's a complete circle. So if you layer them together, just offsetting that detail piece on the bottom, you can create a backing really easily. When I add my stem, the nice thing about the stem being separate is you can turn it around so it can go left or right. And I'm going to go ahead and add a leaf to the very bottom. You can add it to the top of the stem, the very bottom without the stem. So just kind of build your own cherries. I'm going to continue and make 2 more cherries, and then we're going to, I'll show you them. I'll bring in some cardstock, and I think the cherries are going to go perfect with the pattern paper. So they're good to go. All 3 look kind of different, and that's what I was going for. Okay, I'm not quite ready to create my layer cake yet. I thought we'd make our candle first. So I'm taking the top pale pink pattern paper. Again, this one had the insert with the stripes. I'm going to adhere this to a white backing. If you remove the insert and just die cut out the candle piece, it'll create a backing for your candle. And I'm getting whitewashed out with my camera, sorry, but it's a pretty pale pink. I die cut out 2 because when I add my candle flame, I like to sandwich my candle pieces together. I just Copic colored the flame and then add the detail piece on top of my flame. I'm going to add a little glue to one of my candle backings, and I'll add some more glue, but not all the way to the bottom. I'm going to leave the bottom area open, and then I'll add the top piece. Again, we're sandwiching that flame in there. This is the pull mechanism for the layer cake, and so you kind of want it strong, so that's why I do this. You can see I didn't glue the very bottom just yet. I'm adding glue inside there on each layer. This way I can sandwich my candle between the cardstock on our very top layer. This just gives a little extra strength when your recipient pulls it without it falling off. You don't want it to fall off, you want it to be pretty. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'll take our second middle layer. We're going to insert it through the slit on our base layer. Now each of these layers believe it or not, have embossed detail on there. I didn't reinforce the embossed detail because the pattern paper kind of stole the embossed detail away. So, but it's there. It's just barely visible because the pattern papers are so busy. But what you do is you add thin strips of foam adhesive to the left and to the right, all the way up to the top. And then you're going to lower your middle layer, and then that will give you an idea on where to put your bottom layer of foam adhesive. Next, you can insert your very top layer. And I want to show you how I like to do it. You don't have to do it this way, but I found it's easier pulling up and down with the mechanism. If you take the very top layer, you see the pink, it's kind of hard to tell with the pattern paper, darn it, but you see the pink pattern paper strip on top? You want to make sure that that very top layer goes over the top of that. You see how it's flipped over on top? You don't want it underneath like this. That's a no-no. It could. There's no problem with it that way. It's just a little more trickier ascending and descending. So I would just make sure that your very top layer is over that very bottom layer. You see here, the bottom layer is the that pink pattern paper. So just make sure it's overhanging on the top. Okay. Next, basically that's your mechanism. Pretty simple and easy, huh, guys? Next, to hide those layers, to make it look a little more finished, we have some frosting to cover our cake, and you can adhere it with glue, but I like dimension, so I'm going to pop it up, and all you have to do is add some very small or foam squares to the left and to the right of your little slot there. And then if you want to put a thin strip right below that slot, you're good to go. All you have to do is add your frosting right on top. And this would be where you would add the glue also, guys. So just underneath the slit on your bottom layer, and then to the left and to the right. And you can see my frosting covers that really well. Pretty neat, huh? This is what the back looks like. And I'm not going to remove the release paper off of my back because you want to adhere it to the card like this. So we're going to finish up with our cake first. I'm going to take my little swirlies from the Party Cupcake Pocket, and you can see I attached two together. You can make a continuous line with these little swirlies if you want, but I just added two, and they're overhanging. At first I was going to cut them off, but I kind of liked, with all the busy patterns, I kind of liked them overhanging. Kind of went with the look. So I left those little overhanging pieces on. I added 3 of my cherries. Now when you add the cherries, you want to make sure that you don't add them to your candle. The candle has to be free. And then in the stamp set, there is a sentiment that says "You're sweet." I'm going to stamp, and I thought about stamping it on our little tag, but I changed my mind. I ended up stamping it on some Portobello cardstock with Versamark ink, and then added clear embossing powder over it. So it's basically a tone on tone, and I stamped the word "Celebrate." I thought there was a lot going on, too much for a tag, so I thought we'd just block off our sentiment. For our background, I'm bringing in a polka dot embossing folder from the Stamper's Journey. I embossed that panel, and then I am going to add a little bit of Spun Sugar Distress Oxide ink to the back, kind of creating a halo over that candle, because when the candle is ascended, you want something there in the background. So this is a great way to do that. I adhered that to my brown cardstock, you could see here, and then we're going to adhere this to our card base, which is an A2 card base. We're going to go ahead and flip over our cake. We're going to remove the release paper off the left and the right and the bottom. And then this stuck to my fingers, but you just want to flip it over, kind of holding them together, and then position them right in the middle where you want them on your card base. And I think that looks so cute. It looks so cute with the layers down, but boy, it looks cute with the layers popped up. Your layers will They will want to pop up a little bit. That's just natural because of the mechanism. But I just think that's so cute. If you wanted to stamp a sentiment on the layers on the inside of the cake, you could do that too. I popped up my Celebrate, and then we are going to add this. I'm not sure if I want it to the right or to the left, but I think we're going to go for the left. And last but not least, I did add a little bit of diamond stickles to the candle flame, and then also to my white swirlies, just to give it a little sparkle. But I just think that looks so fun. A little surprise. And in the stamp set, there is the word pull. If you want to stamp that around or on the candle, you very well could. Okay, for my final card today, no, actually, my second card, we're going to make one more card, so 3 in total. We're going to make some chocolate chip cookies. So I'm taking the base layer, and I'm going to insert the chocolate chip cookie insert on my Portobello cardstock here. And then I'll die cut out my base with a darker brown cardstock. And I don't remember my cardstock names offhand. Let me see. It is Timber. I have to remember Timber. So that's the brown cardstock is Timber. There's the new color essentials. Love these colored cardstocks. Now all you have to do to make your cookies is add them over the top layer. The cookies are shaped to where there is some key points to where you can line them up very easily. One of them is a point, and then the other one is like a little dip. So it just makes lining that easy. I like to offset them. So when I offset them, I line up to the point and then kind of offset it a bit. Now I layer 2 of mine together, added my little bite mark and die cut it. So I have a bite mark cookie. And then for the rest of the cookies, we're just going to adhere them, offsetting them. So we have 4 cookies in total. 3 of them are whole, and then 1 of them has the bite mark. So the cookies are done, and now we're going to create a cookie bag. Now the card that I'm making, I actually made one for a project kit for Spellbinders. Spellbinders has a video with the projects that I made for that. If you want to check that out, head on over to Spellbinders YouTube channel. But I love the way the cookie bag turned out, and I thought you guys would love it too with the pattern paper. So we're going to recreate it once more. All you do is I have a 3.5 inch wide piece of the floral pattern paper. I adhered a thin strip of the pink pattern paper to the darker pink gingham paper, which is a 3/4 inch strip. I did want to pop this up on my card base, but I do want to add twine. So I'm putting thin strips of foam tape this way on the top and bottom. This way I can actually add twine right down the middle, and I won't have any bulk. Just making sure it's even, and I think that looks great. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add our twine. I'm using some natural twine. If you guys want a natural twine, this is fabulous. Everything I'll use is listed down below if you guys want to check it out. But I'll wrap it around twice, tie a bow off to the right, and then I'm going to take that little tag that we didn't use for card number 1. And in the stamp set, there's a circle that says Sweet Thanks. I stamped that with a worn lipstick, Distress Oxide ink. And it fits perfectly in that little tag. So that's our sentiment. I just tied a bow with it, attaching it to that twine there. Now we're going to add some cookies, kind of backwards for the first one. I added some tape, and then my foam adhesive is showing. So there's some tape on that too. But basically we're going to add some cookies to the very top row. When I add these, I want to make sure that the offset is showing, because when you layer them on top of each other, when you offset it, it just looks a lot more dimensional. So we're going to scoot over this left cookie a little bit and just add 3 to the very top. And I think that looks good. Okay, now to make it look like a little cookie bag, I'm going to add some adhesive behind the back here. And then I have some craft colored tissue paper. Any kind of tissue paper that you have would work. All you do is make sure that the corner, when you tear it, The torn edge is not showing, but the pointy edge is. You just kind of crinkle it and smush it behind your cookies. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Sometimes Spellbinders sends your packaging with extra paper for cushioning. You could use that. I wouldn't recommend white tissue paper, only because you have a white background, unless you have a different color background, because the white would kind of drown out. You wouldn't be able to see it too much, but maybe a colored paper, a pale pink, would be real pretty. But I did add foam adhesive to help secure that tissue paper behind there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and place this on my card base, making sure it's centered. And that is our little cookie card. I think it looks so cute. Okay, after we trimmed the tail of our twine, I have my leftover cookie. I'm going to place one in the bottom corner. And later on, guys, I do end up die cutting out one more chocolate chip cookie. I think odd numbers are best. 3s, 5s, 7s. So I'm going to die cut out one more cookie and put it right next to that bite mark cookie there. Okay, that was that card. Now we're going to move along to our final card today. I'm taking our floral pattern paper and we're going to adhere this to our card base, leaving a little bit of a white border. Now this is another card that I made for the project kit. Project kit was a pre-made kit that came with everything. But I love this card too and wanted to show you how to create a little plate of cookies. So we're going to do a redo. For those of you who got the project kit, you know exactly what I mean. But I adhered my gingham paper to my portobello paper, and then we are offsetting it over the top of our floral pattern paper. Now that's going to be like our picnic cloth or a napkin. Next, I'm going to be taking my timber cardstock and we're going to die cut out 4 cookie bases. And for this cookie, we're going to need our chocolate chip piece. We don't need the insert, just the chocolate chips. And then we also need our embossed plate that came with the cookie corner. Kind of looks like an Oreo top. What I like to do is adhere it to my cookie, kind of tape it on the front and back, so it's got a little hinge there. I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine, show you how I do this. To emboss, it's very easy with your Platinum 6. You just remove your cutting plates, place it face down so your embossed plate is touching your base plate of your die cutting machine. You add your foam mat and your blue embossing mat, and it embosses it beautifully. It's kind of hard to tell the embossing. It's not deep etched. It's a very light etched, but you could see the etch detail in real life. I think it looks real fun, just like an Oreo top. Now we need some cream filling, so we're going to die cut out some white cardstock with the base cookie. Another option is to die cut out fun foam, guys. White fun foam for your cookie filling. Super fun. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive behind one of my top layers, offset it on my cream filling, and then ideally if you could die cut 3 at a time, you could do it, but I think 3 would be pushing the bite mark. I don't think it would cut all the way through, so we're going to use the bite mark and cut through 2 layers, the white and the timber layer of the cookie. In 2 wheel die cut, guys. Okay, so we have our little bite mark. Super cute. And then we need some embossed detail. So I'll take my embossed plate, add it to the top of the cookie with the bite, has the bite mark, guys. We'll place it face down and then add our embossing mat and then also our top plate and run this through. And then we have an embossed bite marked cookie. So you always want, after you die cut out the bite mark, you want to emboss after, because I'm afraid if you would emboss first, you would lose it if you ran it through your die cutting machine again. So there is our embossed detail that you can't really see. Sorry, in the close-ups you'll see the cookie, but it's super neat. Okay, I went ahead and lowered my cream filling so you could see it on the very top, die cut out the backing for my bite mark cookie, and then I die cut out one more of my cream filling for my full cookie. I'll take my embossed top layer, offset it on my cream filling, and then we'll add some adhesive and then add our bottom layer, offsetting that also. And it looks like a dimensional sandwich cookie. I think it looks fun. Okay, I'm still trying to show you that embossed detail, but it's not happening, is it? Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and add my base layer, or bottom layer of my bite mark cookie, and then these guys are good to go. Now to go with our cookies, we need a plate. So I die cut out a circle and then die cut out a circle frame. It's about a 1/2 inch circle frame. We're going to add adhesive to that frame, and I'm using white. You could use any kind of color you want, but I like the white. And I'm just layering it together to create my little plate. I'm going to flip it around, add adhesive behind my plate, and then we're going to adhere this to our napkin or our tablecloth. Any excess overhanging, we'll trim this off too. And then all we have to do is add our cookies. We are going to add a little dimension to them. We're going to add some foam squares behind them. And basically this card's the same as the project kit card that I had made. I just used a little bit more pattern paper, and then I also added the cherries. Again, I created 3 cherries the same way we did with card number 1, with the same colored cardstock. I thought they would be cute on this little plate. So this is again the cherries from the Party Cupcake Pocket. And then I did die cut out a little heart you see up there. The heart is from my sweet treat box. There's lots of little hearts in there, so I picked one that would be nice on our little banner that we're going to create our sentiment with. I'm taking some of the pale pink pattern paper, and we are adhering that to the very top of some white cardstock. It's a little over a 1/4 inch. We're going to stamp the sentiment that says "Hello Sweet Friend" with cocoa powder ink. I just want to make sure that my stamp was cleaned off. It's been well loved. We'll stamp that right in the center. And I'm loving the way it looks. I'm going to go ahead and add that little heart, and we'll just put it right above the E. And then I do take my scissors and fishtail the very bottom of this, and then we're going to add some foam adhesive. We're going to wrap some twine around it, actually, the same twine that we used for card number 2. We're going to wrap it around twice, tie a bow to the left, and then fishtail the bottom, and then we'll adhere it to the top right of our card. So here's another card that I made with the Spellbinders project kit. But I think the pattern papers, you could just switch it up and create a whole different effect too, guys. Okay, we're going to pop this sentiment up and add it to the top left corner. And then all we have left is our little chocolate chip pieces. You're probably thinking, what are you going to do with those? Well, the chocolate chip pieces, the negative pieces, actually they might be considered the positive pieces, but they make great crumbs, guys. So if you want cookie crumbs, die cut out those with whatever colored cardstock you want. I forgot I didn't add, I added foam adhesive behind my cherries, but I didn't remove the release paper. So we better do that now. And then we're going to add our little crumbs. We're just going to add dots of glue where we want them. And I'm going to put a couple on the plate and then a couple off the plate here. And we'll just layer them together, and I think this turned out just adorable. I love using pattern papers, guys, if you can't tell. But I think this is a super fun card just to hand out or give to a friend. And I decided not to use 3 on the very top. I think odd numbers are nice. I think I mentioned that before, but odd numbers are better than even. Okay, so here's the 3 cards that I made today with my Sweet Street collection using the cookie corner, and we're using the layer cake surprise, if I can talk. And then we used a few elements too of the Sweet Treat box, and then also the Party Cupcake Pocket. But thanks so much for joining me, guys. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.